There we go.
At least I have coffee.
Yeah, I made mine way too hot, so I've been trying to cool it down for the last half hour.
I have $4 coffee. If you
Start
want.
recording
The
once.
beans. My neighbor, her son.
Hey guys, welcome to
Starbucks.
Facebook Live. We're
So I
gonna
always get a pound of
start
wheat.
here about 10 o'clock. We just usually start a few minutes early to let people jump on.
Okay, so you got that recording.
Yep. I started on the last
Yeah.
song.
We going here with these songs.
Or write me a check too.
Well,
I'll
it's-
take one.
On that.
Huh?
Yeah, if you're writing
I'll
checks,
take a
Rich,
check,
Rich
too.
and I'll take one too.
Oh,
You'll probably need a little bigger one than me. How those renovations going? Or no, you got the new scoring system coming in.
July 1st, finally got a date, finally pushed and scheduled. I wasn't ready for that fast, but I was looking sometime this summer. But
Let's talk about that in the last 15 minutes. The updates and everything you're doing down there, the stuff you added in. That's pretty cool.
hope so.
I saw you were at the, what was the show where you were posting pictures of all the new technology they had? Weren't you at a, like a
That was
trade
way
show?
cool.
Yeah. I went out to trade show a while back.
Because they had the
Yeah.
single panel, but you can do
Yeah.
like continue, like
I mean,
the
I
software
know
program,
every
you can probably do
system's kind of the
continuation
same,
with
but
all
a
the
little
new
difference,
LCDs you
A little
put in, right?
different, yeah.
We can. It's just a little more complex with that, but there's some better digital boards out there.
Rich,
Next upgrade.
can you hand? I don't. Just hand it to the boys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just called you a boy, Brian.
Next upgrade.
It's a little
Let's do
sticky.
these
I'm
print
used to it by
first.
now.
I mean, because I just licked them. I didn't want it to. Oh my gosh. I had the privilege of getting up at 4 o'clock yesterday morning. The puppy was determined to, so we went for a walk, and then she wanted
At
another.
4 a.m.?
Yeah, well, in my neighborhood, it's a private community, so yeah, I mean, you know, we allow bunnies and squirrels and
Oh, that's cool.
birds and stuff, and so we
Plus, you're the
walked.
president of the HOA, right? So
Still,
you get to do whatever you want.
doggone it, still,
Just kidding, Facebook. She abides by the rules.
all the time.
You don't know HOAs. Okay.
Or you, what did you say? You were?
Yeah,
What are we listening to right now?
And what were the 3 top issues? Pets,
No.
Landscaping.
Landscaping.
Slow
Green
plowing
is right
and
now,
science,
and
slow
then
plowing and other kind of
blue
stuff is really the big.
silly stuff.
What
Yeah,
is it?
Park.
and,
It's
Yeah.
usually
where you put your garbage can.
Yep.
It's
Well,
not
we're
in the
fixed-
right
It's
spot. They
whatever
were
one
like,
has the
your
access
garbage
to
can's
it.
about a foot where it's
Start
supposed to
plan.
be. Can you want to report them? You can see
Oh,
it
no,
from
no,
the
no,
corner
no,
of the
you take
property.
pictures.
Oh yeah, they do. They send. Oh
You
yeah.
got 1 minute.
Play sets and all that kind of was always a big topic.
Oh, it's crazy. Ours is pets, trash, and parking.
If it's a
Yeah.
fade or if it's a
Yeah,
cold.
pets and trash and snow plowing was
Oh,
our big
I
ones.
know
1 minute.
It shows the intros.
And then what
It has
comes
to
out
be
of your pet if you
that
don't
one, so
clean
I'm
it
assuming this
out.
one can fade out with music because it doesn't have. It says the last words and then.
Oh,
Okay.
But I
You
know
always
the
could
You
Yeah.
outro
still,
is cool.
you still intro me on the
Yeah.
on the live
broke
feed?
that one.
Michelle, do you have a place where you can go listen to past episodes of other shows?
No, we're going to be
No.
doing
30
that.
seconds.
You probably should
We're gonna-
do that.
yeah,
like,
we're do-
like archive them. So
We are.
okay, cool.
Ten seconds.
All right, I didn't break it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore, where we talk business, entrepreneurship, business practices, best ethics, anything to do with business. And we have a special guest in studio today. I'm super excited to have him here. He is just a phenomenal, swell guy, business owner, entrepreneur, and just a ton of business experience. So we're going to chat a little bit with him. His name is Rich Kenny. Rich, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Good morning.
I wanted to have Rich in. He is the owner of Forest View Lanes in Bedford Township and has just done some phenomenal things with that business. And this is where we talk business. And we talk to people who've done it, who've learned from it, who've experienced it. So, Rich, why don't we open up with maybe just a little history of maybe your work history, your business ownership history, who you are, and how you got to where you are now.
Rich Kenny. I started actually born and raised in Bedford. My first job was actually at Forest View, picking up beer bottles off tables, emptying ashtrays. So started from the ground up in that organization. Went off to college at University of Toledo, got my bachelor's for human resources for business administration, and then went off into the corporate world as more of a recruiter. Started at Comerica Bank, moved over to 7-Eleven, went down to their national office, was recruited by Northwest Airlines while they're in bankruptcy to come out of bankruptcy and do the recruiting for them. Delta Airlines, done their global recruiting for Delta, and then moved back to Michigan, spent some time doing some consulting work, and then worked for Henry Ford Health System, recruiting nurses and things of that nature, and then with Kelly Service running their global think tank for sourcing strategy for North and South America.
Wow, so you've actually had quite a range from working with large businesses, corporations, and now a small to medium-sized business as an owner. Before we get it into Forest View a little bit, I wanted to dig a little deeper on what you said there. You said you worked you did recruiting for some corporations. Can you talk a little bit about what that experience is? We have listeners out there who either run a small business, maybe they're a medium-sized business, and recruiting can be a real hard thing, especially as you probably know, finding qualified labor in this market. What are some maybe tips or tricks, or what are some opportunities or hurdles that you saw when you're talking recruiting? Now, maybe it's not the same as corporate recruiting, but maybe expand on that a little bit. Tell me what you did there. And
Yeah, in my career I can hire people to build rockets, but I can sometimes not find a bartender or a server or a cook now, so
right.
I'm not sure what went wrong. I spent most of my career, I started on just doing true recruiting, interviewing, hiring people for various roles, and moved towards the end of my career more into the social, mobile, and technology strategy around how to find people. The internet search, internet mining, searching people out on the internet, well before Facebook was prevalent and LinkedIn was prevalent. But really, recruitment is it's branding your business, yourself, your everything about what you're trying to find. So it's being involved in the industry you're in. It's talking to your customers. It's talking to your current employees about referrals and friends. Talking to your former employees about referrals and friends. It's really it's more about conversation. You can't just put an ad up and hope someone applies. If you come into and you're in the restaurant industry and you walk into a restaurant, you got great service. Hey, do you have any friends like you that might want to come work for me?
Right.
It's being more proactive in your search. You drive by every business right now, you're going to see a sign in every door saying help wanted. The economy is doing so great that everybody's pretty much working. If they're having a bad day, they can quit and go get a job tomorrow.
Sure.
This market is probably the hardest market we've been in a while from a recruitment standpoint. Skilled trades is where there's huge opportunities for people right now. The market, the candidate pool in the skilled trades is so minimal right now that you can write your own paycheck pretty much in a skilled trades capacity right now.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing as well. So recruitment is continuous. Whether you're working for a business and doing that as your profession, or even if you own a business, you're just constantly recruiting, it seems like.
I mean, you should always be interviewing, whether you're hiring or not. If you're talking to people and having great conversations, you find the right person, hire them.
Sure.
You'll need them eventually.
Yeah.
But you're always recruiting. You're always selling your business and selling the opportunities that you present in the community.
Yeah. Let's jump back a little bit, because it seems to be for business owners, there's always that linchpin moment, so to speak, where you thought about owning a business, or you thought, wow, it'd be great if someone did this. And making that jump from working for someone to working for yourself, how did you get to that point to where it looked like you had a pretty successful corporate career going, and then you go, hey, I want to go back to my hometown and own a bowling alley, in Bedford Township? How do you make that leap, or what led up to that to make those decisions for you?
I came back in 2010. My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, so I came home to help my dad with caregiving for her. He was a primary caregiver, but I helped out as much as I could. And during that time, it was a pretty tough 6-7 years of being involved, and I realized that my thirst for knowledge, my thirst for in the recruitment space was lost.
Okay.
So I really chose to change my path and simplify. I was traveling 45 weeks a year some weeks, and my last 4 years I didn't travel as much, which was nice. But I wasn't getting most of my job was all research. I was at the end of my career, I was more doing research and strategy and things of that nature. And I really needed a change and something more refreshing. And I was living right down the street from the bowling alley. I'm like, I should buy this place. This would be cool. It wasn't really for sale at that time, but
Right.
we got a nice conversation. I knew the owner, we're good friends, and he stayed on and helped me for 4 years with the business and helped me transition into running the business. But it was just, I always joked as a kid I wanted to own the bowling alley.
Okay.
So it was some sarcasm there, I guess, back then, but turned into reality. It made sense, and it's been probably one of the best decisions I made. And it slowed my lifestyle down from all the travel, and really had a lot of fun with it and passion with it. A lot of my skills from the recruitment side transferred over to the marketing side of running the business.
Makes sense.
Most of my background at the end was really recruitment marketing and digital, mobile, social, and so it was really kind of a great fit and crossover.
You know, that's interesting that you said it was something that I joked about as a kid. Usually when I talk to business owners, there's two reasons why they got in the business most of the time. I would say 80 to 90% fall into these two reasons. Either they saw something in the market where that was absolutely needed and they decided that would be, you know, a good space to get into, or it was just always kind of a lifelong either passion or interest. You know, I've been in real estate now for almost 10 years, never thought I would be in real estate, but even thinking back to when I was younger, you know, my grandfather told me when I was 8 or 9, and I didn't understand it then, they were talking, he had 4 sons, and he was talking about investments, and he said, buy dirt, they're not making any more dirt, you know? And I don't know if he stole that quote, he probably did, but I just remember hearing that as a little kid going, what does that mean? And then you get up and you get into real estate and you realize, oh yeah, they're not making a lot of dirt. Most investments start in real estate or are in real estate. You know, even your stock market and things like that are in real physical goods. And it is nice to hear that you're keeping the preconceptions in my brain going, that it's either something that you were kind of interested in or you see a niche in the market. So did you go out and kind of look at the, you know, maybe the geographical area and say, you know, I could buy this or do that? I mean, was there a lot of forethought into what industry you were moving to from the corporate world to business ownership, or was it just, did it pop into the head? I'm always interested to know, like, what was that process there, that leading that 2 or 3 weeks up to business ownership?
Drunk, super crazy, maybe a combination. I don't know. It was, sorry.
Business owners all need a little crazy in them.
It was honestly, I just wanted to buy that business.
Okay.
Jim and I were friends for a long time. We talked about it over the years even before that, just casually. It wasn't, you know, a serious conversation. But we always talked about it, and I'm like, you know, I got back, and I'm like, hey, would you be willing to sell? And
Yeah.
we had some good conversations around it, and it worked out, but didn't really look. I wanted to be in Bedford. I wanted that location. I wanted, you know, I could have just retired probably and not done it, and not took on another challenge, but
Sure.
that'd be pretty boring.
Yeah.
So I figured this would be more fun, and I think I work more now than I did before.
Well, you say fun, but it almost sounds like you're saying it facetiously, because if you talk to any business owner, when you say fun, and we just had this discussion before we went live, you were dealing with a situation at your place of business at what, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, there's fun.
So when we say fun, it's, you know, all hours. You're on 24/7. I think if there's small business owners out there listening, it is not a cliche when you say you wear multiple hats. Mm-hmm. Michelle, our fine director of owner of Monroe County Red, is waving her hand over here. She knows. You wear multiple hats. You're always on duty, and ultimately the buck stops with you. I mean, you make the decision, and it's you that's either creating the business to succeed or to fail, which I would say is, you know, probably one of the intoxicating draws for me as a business owner. I tell people all the time, jokingly, I wake up every day and go, well, let's not be homeless next month. So that means, what am I going to do to make sure that my business keeps moving forward, growing, expanding it, and all those things. So you got into Forest View. Now, did you have any previous, besides working at Forest View as a youngster, did you bowl all the time as like a young adult or an adult, or?
I'm a horrible bowler, horrible volleyball player. I've had like a 289 game and a 757 series, but those were like randomly,
Okay.
pure luck type of situation.
All right.
But I had fun with my friends bowling. I enjoyed the people. I worked at the bowling alley first since 14, so I knew a lot of the customers. I've enjoyed the experience. Became friends with a lot of the bowlers. And so it was, but I never was a bowler. I never really was good at it. I never was good at any really sport.
Sure.
But I was good at business, and I think that made sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're going to, after the break, we're going to get into a little bit of when you first came into the business, it changed hands, you're now the owner. What did you see that you thought, well, there's some opportunity there, maybe I switch this or change that, or maybe do something a little bit different? It's kind of funny that you were in the corporate world and then went to small business. Sometimes I usually see it the other way around. Maybe you own a small business, and then you expand into the corporate world after you've gained a certain set of skills and things like that. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back more with Rich Kenny, owner of Forest View Lanes in Bedford. See you in a few. Maybe the next 15 we just talk about when you first came in, what you saw, like maybe we could do this differently.
Okay, so that'll
Essentially, the
play all
people
of
that are
these.
listening and the people that I throw this to are mostly all business owners. When I kind of email them and go, hey, what'd you think? And they love opportunities, challenges, tips and tricks. I don't know, any,
Just let them know.
so kind of like what
I
you did
usually
at
do a
the
minute,
Young Professional.
30 seconds, 10
You know,
seconds, and then
that's
five.
kind of what I
remember
focus
did
on.
there.
Yeah,
I said there.
I don't remember what you said.
That
So
was all
that was good though.
MUS.
No, they really liked you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about it 2 months later.
Go back up to the
It
very
was crazy.
Very nice, yeah.
Michigan-based, family-owned, and open all year.
Good times.
Red Apple Fireworks has the
Now, when you hit the mic
guaranteed
buttons,
license
that doesn't make
in
a
the store. Plus,
pop
hundreds
sound.
of exclusive fireworks and finale sets that can't be
No.
found.
Not really. Cause these, I don't think these are phantom powered, so they don't.
Just off exit 11 from
They don't have the.
I-75, or order online and get it shipped. Visit redapplefireworks.com and check out videos.
You got a bunch of people saying watching.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Simply the best.
Oh, Tony Solomon, I haven't talked to him in a while.
Jim's on listening. He's stuck to
I'm
me.
sure he is.
Banker Means Real Estate. I specialize in residential sales throughout Monroe County. As an energetic and focused realtor, I am honored to receive the Rookie of the Year award as I began my career. I'm a lifelong
They have too much
runner.
technology. He's watching live, texting you, saying he's watching while I'm watching you watch him on the text.
734.
Bring him
Wow.
in. That's-
Yeah.
Technology is wonderful.
Oh,
It's also-
I will have Jimmy in here one week,
Oh,
1 month. Jim Nyan.
yeah.
Because
He's
he
here.
does 10 Pink Marketing. He's out in Chicago. He's out in California. He's always doing something
He's doing
different.
some cool
And
stuff.
if you're watching Jim, good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Good people.
For the past 24 years, Stacy's Travel has been the premier travel agency in Monroe. At Stacy's Travel, you
Oh, listen to that voiceover. That sounds like a professional.
Ah, yeah. You know what? You're right. This owning a business, like I can do it better. I was in corporate media my whole life. I can do it better and local, and
Yeah.
you're right. I wake up with I got a great idea. Write
Yeah.
it down. Yeah.
I think I tell people most small business owners have a weird, insane thirst for
The last one.
knowledge and they're curious all the time. I found that to be common by why? Well, why can't we do it, right? And then two, they always seem to have at least a touch of like ADD of like, I do this, I'm very interested, and I can move into this.
Squirrel.
Right.
Shiny.
Everybody's trying
Probably in
out
a good way though. Probably in a good way. Multitask, lots of things going, and it's just because when you get curious about something and then you get passionate about it, it's not really worth
15
that.
seconds.
You know?
Well, and I like having that MacGyver little attitude. Like if something's wonky, okay, we have to fix it. We have to make it better. We have to.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. We're in studio with Rich Kenny. I think I called him an all-around swell guy. I think I'm going to stick with that. I think that'll be your new moniker, all-around swell guy. We need to bring back swell. You know, I think that was big in the 50s, early 60s. I kind of like it, you know, just a swell guy. But we were talking about him purchasing Forest View Lanes in Bedford Township, how he came out of the corporate world, decided to move into small business because he had a head injury and wanted to work 28 hours a day. I'm kidding. I'm no insult to
Feels
anyone out there who
good.
owns a business. If you do own a business, you get the joke. But so let's talk a little bit about, okay, so you purchased the bowling alley, Forest View. You purchased it from Jim Nyan, who's also a mutual friend, great guy. He owns a marketing company locally. you walk in day one, week one, month one, whatever it is, and you go, I see some opportunity here, or I see some things that I want to change, or you just, what were your biggest challenges maybe when you walked in and took over the keys?
Biggest challenge was for me initially was a transition just from the corporate world, doing consulting work to actually managing at that point probably 15 or 20 employees at an entry level workforce of bartenders and servers and cooks and those kind of roles. I managed a team of executive recruiters and consultants and online researchers and things of that nature.
Sure.
So big transition to be more involved in the daily transactions of a business. So that was a big change for me. When it comes to the business itself, the first year there was how do we improve the spots that need improvement. In the bowling industry, this is across all bowling alleys, not just Forest View.
Okay.
Historically, they lose money every day of the summer. Historically, every day of the summer from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they're losing money. I mean, in large
Sure.
amounts continuously. You got to save up for the summer to survive the summer. And
Sure.
hope you make it to the end of summer. I remember my first summer there. I mean, I was down to barely able to make payroll and pay the bills. Had nothing. Went down to almost the last penny I had each summer for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
It was difficult. So that's the stress of making sure you always make payroll first, pay your vendor second, pay yourself last,
Right.
and then make improvements to your business, things of that nature. But you got to take care of those things. So the biggest problem was summer. So I figured the way to fix and grow a business, fix your biggest opportunity, which is summer.
Summer, sure. What do you do there?
So
Yeah.
we have Jim had the volleyball out there since early '90s. I think the volleyball started when they had Forest View, and they always had a few courts, and they added some. He had miniature golf in the summer. He tried different things to build business in. So I really followed in his model that he had out there when I took over the business, and what he already started was helping cure the summer problems of a bowling center by
Sure.
building a summer revenue source that came into the business. And so I took that and I said, okay, if we do this right and we build more courts and we renovate the bar to make it more of an experience and we get people to come out and hang out more than just play volleyball, because the volleyball players like going to the Planet Fitness for an hour to work out at the gym membership and they leave.
Sure.
They came to volleyball to play an hour of volleyball. They go home, shower, go somewhere else to eat. So how do we keep them there? So we really kind of built additional courts. We built more of an experience out there, added more fire pits, things of that nature. And when people started coming and the facility started growing and getting more people and more teams, and so it started helping salvage and save summer operations where
Yeah.
they can be more self-sufficient and not require debt to make it through summer, not require credit cards to make it through summer, and not require saving cash in the fall to pay for summer operations. So that was the biggest thing. It didn't happen overnight. It took probably up until this year is probably the first year our summers are net neutral as a business. We basically break even.
Wow.
And
The last few years that I've been out there in the summer, I mean, you have nights where you could have probably 400-500 people roaming around on those huge courts.
yeah,
And just the cost of doing business then must be
your overhead inside the center is still there, and that's where
Right.
a lot of the business operations come in. But
Right.
the people playing volleyball, they're playing an active sport. They're not eating for an hour, not drinking for an hour. They're playing an active sport, and not all of them stay around.
right.
So it looks busy, and then you feel people drive by the road saying, "Wow, you're so busy! I couldn't stop for dinner." I'm standing in the middle of my restaurant saying, "There's like one person in here." There's plenty.
Right.
So the parking lot looks like there's no room to see it, no room to sit. There's gonna be 5-hour wait for food.
Right.
But you look inside the bowling alley, there's like 4 lanes going, and there's no one in the bar. And so it's and its perception though from the road is that, wow, they're super busy, we can't go there. But you would have drove in and walked in the building, you would have sat right down, had dinner, and no wait, and
That's when you got to put a little, wireless message out on that
We-
nice, beautiful digital sign. Now seating for dinner, 5-minute wait. You know what I mean?
Put that out there actually.
Did you? There you go. Great minds think alike. So, but you said something a few moments ago, and you said try to create a better experience. And I found that in the restaurant and I would call you, your bowling alley, but you have a restaurant, drink, food, major part of your business. I feel, and even as a commercial realtor, when I deal with new business owners, sometimes the experience gets put to the back. They go, well, I got to have good food. I got to have a good interior. Those are good things. I want you to have the ambiance of the interior. I want you to have great food and drink. I want you to have great customer service with the overall experience. How do I get them to come there and want to be there and then stay there, right? Everyone in the digital age 10 years ago was all about bounce rate and how can we get someone to stay on the page. Well, we got to think about that in the physical world. If I come to your establishment, you don't want me there for 5 minutes and then leaving to visit a friend. I'm driving there for a reason. You want me there for a certain length of time, probably spend some money, obviously. And I think you've done a phenomenal job on that outside. I mean, I tell my wife all the time, I say, when you go to those courts in the summer, the volleyball courts, I've got swings, I've got fire pits, I've got a little outside, I wouldn't even call it a bar. I mean, it's a building, a bar with with the roll down windows to where you got cornhole going. It kind of feels like you're not where you are. Mm-hmm. And if I can go somewhere for a few years and not feel like I'm in Michigan or Monroe or Bedford and feel like I'm somewhere else, I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just saying it transports you. That's experience, right, is what you want, And I think you've done a great job on that. And it looked like, from my perspective, it looks like you kind of focused on that when you took over as well, correct?
Yeah, I had to. That was my weakest point. We had multiple areas we focused on in the business. Volleyball and the outdoor experience was a big part of it, and then we focused on bringing in craft beer and good scotches and bourbons for those that want that kind of product. We were one of the really early adopters in Southeast Michigan around craft beer,
sure,
in Bedford at least, to bring that on. And we put on to 48 bears, and people thought I was crazy back when I went to 4. And
right,
then 8 beers, they thought, why are you doing this? You shouldn't get in this. This is not a good market to get. It's going to die. It's a fad. It's not going to last. And I'm like, I think I could do this. And because I remember going around traveling the country, I was always stopped at these local restaurants, and there were brew pubs, or and they made beer. And I'm like, that's where I started. And I never knew when I really started craft beer drinking. It was because it was actually microbreweries I was going to, and that
sure,
was kind of what I experienced. Fresh beer. And then we fixed the restaurant side with the beverage side, and then we launched food. I hired a great executive chef, David Harrison, brought him on board, mm-hmm, and really rebuilt the menu. We're actually going through a new launch here. I think next week we're launching a brand new menu next week. So it's but great food made from scratch and quality product. People balked at that at first, saying we want the old burger. Well, then when they got the old burger back, we put it back on the menu for people to make everybody happy. They're like, we want the new burger's bun and the lettuce and tomato on the new burger. We wanted the bigger patty, and
right,
so they didn't want that. They wanted the old burger price, but they wanted the better quality product. And
right,
now we carry certified Angus beef, the only bowling alley that carries certified Angus beef that we can use our label and brand.
Sure.
We carry certified Angus beef. Took a year to even get that approved for Bowling Center.
Yeah.
Wow,
really?
So we went through all that process, and throughout those years, we've always focused on a lot of aspects of my business. This year we're doing a ton of work on the lanes and equipment and things of that nature. But it's funny, it's like my customer sees me, well, you're here, you only care about the restaurant. And I'm like, no, you only see me while you're here. That's your social side of when you're here.
Right.
So as a bowler, you do 3 things. You bowl, you eat, and you drink. So if I care about the food and beverage while you're in my building, that's 60% of your experience that I'm caring about at that point in time.
Right.
What sometimes people forget is that I'm there from 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning until midnight. So before you get there, I'm worried about the lanes, I'm worried about the building infrastructure,
sure,
I'm worried about the grounds outside, I'm doing all these different things. So you have so many different hats you wear as a business owner that it's trying to manage all that and try to build
sure, that
experience. So volleyball was the most important thing several years ago for me to build that experience. We've done a lot of work since then on the volleyball,
sure,
but we've done a lot of work on the lanes. We leveled our lanes, got them all in perfect condition for sanctioning requirements. We bought a new oil machine. We rebuilt all our machines in the back for the bowling lanes so they run better. We're replacing all the scoring systems this year. We're replacing all the lanes this year. We're always doing stuff in every aspect of my business. I'm not always focused on one side of it.
right.
I'm focused on every aspect of the business every single day. And
Yeah, kind of a very leveled approach. If you focus too much on one thing, the other things don't get the focus, right? Just a quick question that popped into my head when you were saying that, because the reason I know you do half the renovations and half the things that you do is because I see them on social media. And it was funny because, 4 or 5 years ago, when people were still just kind of dipping into Facebook ads and things like that, wasn't so prevalent as it was now. Obviously, Facebook ads have been around for a while. We would joke when I would come in. I said I got hungry, and 2 minutes later, I got 9 ads in my feed for Forest View. You know the demographic. I mean, you were targeting very specific, and I think that comes from your tech background a little bit. You're kind of ahead of the curve in that. But the only reason why I even see all these things going on is your social media accounts, and you're very active there, large followings, always posting. Can you talk a few minutes before the break about the importance of social media to a small business owner and how maybe you use it?
Social media is important to communicate just to your team members, to your customers, to your community. Let them know what you're doing. It's a lot of people think that if I spend 10 hours at Forest Shoe, he's making $9 in profit. That's the belief out there, and I'm being sorry. It's like they believe that we all the money just goes into the pocket. We're
right.
But if out of a dollar, we probably make 5 cents to 10 cents on a dollar if you cover cost of labor, cost of goods, overhead, and then if anything breaks in your building, that just takes all that out of the equation.
Right.
You know, bad weather in the middle of summer and you have to cancel volleyball.
Power out, all these things.
We have power out. We actually fixed that. We bought a full building-wide generator this year, so we're putting that in right now. So we'll never be out without power now. We can run bowling, everything with full power with this generator in. So I'm super excited about that. So that's out of the equation now, which is good. I'm going to be the only bowling alley that has a full building generator, I think.
Wow, now you're just hoping the power goes out so we all flock to Forest View and everyone else doesn't have power.
I make sure I know where I'm at when that happens.
Right.
Yes,
that's important.
Yeah, so I think we're, but social media, let people know what you're doing when you do things. So they need, if you're going to spend money and put $500,000 in your business, tell the customer and the community what you're doing.
Right.
When you're giving back to this community, make sure people know you're doing it, because I don't think they realize how much all Bedford businesses give back.
Sure.
We get hundreds of requests every week from people for donations, for events and offerings, and free game coupons, and it's amazing. But I don't think people know all the work that all the Bedford businesses do.
Right.
When I go to a golf outing or bowling outing, they'll have hundreds and hundreds of different donations that every business in the area has given. But they don't think the businesses get the recognition they need from when they give all those donations. The smallest donation should be recognized by a charity, should be recognized by an individual outing, and to help businesses be successful. American has a small business Saturday program for a reason. Help support small businesses.
Sure.
These are all important aspects. So you should ask your customer to recognize that you did something for them as a business owner.
Yeah, that's
part of the condition.
That's such a great point. We're going to talk more about that actually after the break. Philanthropy and giving back to the community. We're going to take a quick break. More with Rich Kenny when we come back.
Mr. Commissioner, were you painting?
I was.
Painted by numbers. He's finger painting. Yeah, he was finger painting. So
yeah, I was like.
No, I was
like either that or someone had a shaky hand at the tattoo.
No, I got about halfway through painting the deck, and I put my hand down, and then I realized, I didn't have gloves on, so then I just went all out. I'm like, well, I've already. And I was taking rolls off without gloves, and it was the best I could get.
I'll tell them about in a minute.
Rich said it was to trick people into thinking I actually do work, like real hard work.
We all know
Wow.
I just in the morning I put,
Okay.
That's a great idea.
We'll talk about your 100 Days of Giving when we come back. Rich, sound good?
Countdown from
Okay.
5. Coming out
Is that what it's called? Is that what you're calling it?
Yep.
Is that what you're calling it? 100 Days of
100
Giving?
days ago, yeah.
And when we get to the last commercial, turn this off auto.
Yep.
Oh, see, that's a good trick I didn't do. I was hitting the when I ran the Pavlica show, I was
Yeah.
like hitting each commercial.
Yeah.
But you couldn't get a half a second between each. I was like, I'm on it today. Yeah. Because if there's some people, we call them boxcar creators, because they create a boxcar of air between each commercial.
This one
So,
and the
Okay.
next
yeah, it's
one.
kind of funny.
Okay. Industry term, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot, but that's probably one of the cleanest, It is media,
Yeah.
Or email jason.turner@nationslending.com. Nations Lending. Their goal is saying
We should need to do like a radio show on the bloopers of restaurant owners and stuff and all this.
That would be
You
you know what?
All the customer experiences that happen.
Rich, Rich, what I'd like to do is we did one with Nino,
Okay.
and he's friends with Stacy at Stacy's Travels, so he does a little 1 minute blurb every morning. What's the specials? Blah 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 blah. And so he brought Stacy in, and so he chopped up some knives, and he was talking about the special. He goes, "I know this is live. I am so sorry, Stacy. These onions are going on tacos. They're not onion rings, and made people laugh. It was really cute. And then towards the end, she had the knife by him. It was funny. I mean, not seriously, but up.
I've never worked in the restaurant industry, but I
10
have stories
seconds.
from people, and I said it's just insane. Like we
But
worked there.
we should
Reality
do
TV
one for
show.
you. Let's do
3,
one for you.
2, 1.
We're back with Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. We have Rich Kenny in studio today. We're talking business ownership, entrepreneurship. On the other side of the break, we were talking about social media, and then we morphed into a little bit of giving and giving back to the community, which is a great segue into Rich's 100 Days of Giving. His marketing manager, I think you would call her, came up to me and said, hey, a few weeks ago, said, hey, we're doing 100 Days of Giving, and explained a little bit about it to me, and I was just blown away because I'd never heard a business do, especially a small business, local business, kind of take on this initiative and do it on their own. So, Rich, can you tell me a little bit, give us some details about what that 100 Days of Giving is?
Okay, so from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we do 100 Days of Giving. So we take, every day we give 10% back of the business that the organization brings into the business. So
Okay.
if you are part of an organization, you need to raise money for your cause, you would create an event on Facebook. We'll help you with that. We'll give you a flyer to use. You would email your database. Hey, let's go to Forest You. This way you're not just having to write a check to a charity. So from some cause, you can say, let's say the family, we're going to out anyways with the family.
Sure.
As it goes somewhere, have a part of our effort be given to a charity. So we get 10% of the proceeds from the event each day to a different charity to help raise money for a family. We also match some of that contribution based on what they raise, how many people they bring in. We do a additional match. So it's but we have probably I think 50 or 60 already signed up for this summer already. I think this is our third year of doing this campaign. We do different things throughout the time frame. But it came about a couple different ways. If you look back, my mom passed away several years ago, 5 years ago now, this summer. So July 1st is the signature date of the summer for us. That day we actually give 100% of our sales that day. So July 1st will mark right around my mom's 5th anniversary of her passing to Alzheimer's. We give 100% of sales that day. So you walk in and spend $20 a day.
Oh, that's awesome.
We give $20 to the charity. So we give up to the first $5,000 on that Monday. It goes right to charity.
Wow.
We've done this now for 5 years, so we've given $25,000 through that campaign of charity, and then we've also raised money through our walks, and probably another $20,000 through our walks.
Wow.
Over the last 5 years. 10 years for Alzheimer's, we're probably close to $50,000 that we've given to the local Alzheimer's Association. So, but that's really what what's stemmed from. And the other aspect that helped me understand why this is important is every day we get people asking us for donations and contributions and things to help support local causes and
Sure.
efforts in the community, from sports teams to bands to robotics programs to fundraising individuals for loved ones they lost and people fighting a life-threatening illness.
Yeah.
But we get requests for pretty much everything you can think of and
Sure.
then some. But I thought this would be a great way to provide an opportunity for people to come together and be a part of a community and bring others that maybe might not know about your cause or your need into a business in the community and raise money for that cause, and also raising awareness. So sometimes you might raise a couple $100 for your cause, but you raise more value through the awareness of the campaign.
Sure.
And then the efforts. You look at some of these major charities, people always complain, well, now the money goes to research. It's not all supposed to go to research.
Right.
Part of education and awareness is spending money for awareness. It's not, you
Sure.
know, you need the awareness to get the bigger dollars. You know, if you look at
Yeah.
any kind of research, a lot of the true research comes from the NIH. That's where the funding is. That's where the money is. So the research that other organizations do is there and very important, but a lot of the core financial backing is really through the NIH, through their research and their efforts. So a lot of some of these charities are really meant to bring awareness to A, the government, but B, to those that the larger donors that bring financial resources to do research. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where some of this effort really came from. But so we have charity organizations. So we have a ProMedic Foundation there tomorrow for a fundraiser. I'm sorry, today for a fundraiser
Okay.
for a local need. For an individual, and we also have tomorrow. We have Brooklyn Swim Club coming out for their fundraiser. So we have a variety of things from the Toledo Thunder for our sports team. We have like little baseball teams, kids baseball teams come in. We
Sure.
have a little bit of everything for every kind of cause, for pets, for you name it. We have a little bit of a variety of people that have asked for support and asked for our help, and then and help them with their efforts and their cause and to support it. So our summers are slower inside, we're busy outside. We have, some capacity which helps in that regard. We do them year round, but summers where we kind of focus on. We
Sure.
still do a large number of fundraisers throughout the entire bowling season, but summers we want to try to make an effort to really make awareness and do some really good stuff this summer.
I love how that fits together too. One, I love the fact that you're giving back to the community. We'll touch on that in a moment. But also, you being, like I said, business owners are always looking and we're going, how can we fit this together? And you went, well, my place is a little bit slower in the summer, the inside. So what can I do? Oh, I know what I can do. I can bring people from the community or from the surrounding community, bring them into my establishment, but then give back a portion of that to, like you said, 100 different organizations. What I found just amazing about that is just that 100 days in a row. Sure, I've heard business, this Saturday, a special thing, 10%, maybe it's once, twice a year, but to do the goal being 100 contiguous days of giving back to local organizations, charities, nonprofits, even like you said, even people maybe that need funding for something specific, as long as it's approved. That's really forward thinking. Can you touch a little bit about the importance of giving back to the community when you're a business owner? I've said this before. I've never really met very successful business owners that were also stingy. Like they may have a little success, but I always find success and giving back go hand in hand. And I'm not saying you do one for the other. I'm just saying they seem to, it's a principle. You know what I mean? Can you talk a little bit the importance of that for a business owner to be involved in the community, give back to the community?
I think every business owner in Bedford, they have requests every single day. So everyone's doing it. Everyone's very, very active, involved in their community. If you're a business owner, you're a small business owner, you live in the community, you're going to give back. This is why you're in this community. This is why you bought a business in this community. You support the business. The community supports you.
Sure.
So I believe it's you're really supporting the community that supports your business day in, day out. And Bedford is a great community in Monroe County that supports their local businesses across the board. We have a great following of customers from even the greater Toledo area that come to us, Sylvania, Toledo, Point Place. We draw a crowd from everywhere, and we support our community all around in that regard. But being a business owner, it makes sense to. It's not always about making. You're there to make money and pay your bills, pay your employees, and
Sure.
support and grow your business. But you're also there to leave a legacy and do something great. And I think philanthropy and giving back to the community is part of that. What is your legacy going to be when you retire, sell your business, whatever you decided doing? What's your legacy going to be? But making sure you're philanthropic and you're doing good work
Sure.
in the community is important. And so this is one way to do that. The 100 Days of Giving was really picking 100 different charities. And then Signature Charity was the Alzheimer's Association for the local area for my mom, which we give. So 100 days and giving 100% back on that one day is kind of where this
cool.
all came from.
Yeah.
Is really we're going to really do a great thing for a major charity that I have a passion for.
Sure.
But help out 99 other charities that have also a very important need in our community that needs some support. Everything needs support, from the arts to the athletics to the schools to local music, local sports teams to families in need to special causes for different charitable organizations. They all have a need. A lot of them don't have a social platform that's strong enough to get the word out.
Sure.
That's
yeah.
where when you can partner with a business that can help get the word out for you, can help give you a platform or venue to use. It really helps catapult some of that effort.
Wow. Yeah, and it's so good. Like you said, it's twofold because, if you're choosing where to go to eat that night or where to go bowl or where to do some volleyball or get a few drinks, it's so nice to know that you have a business out there and you go, whatever I spend here, I'm giving back a little bit because he's giving back. I know it sounds a little self-serving even from the customer's side, but it's nice to know you've got a business that goes, you want to know what, we're willing to give up a little bit of that profit and send that to a nonprofit or a charity. And I'll tell you what, I think it sticks with people. I know the businesses in my community that give back, and I patronize those businesses because I want to be part of that, because I give back as a business owner.
Right, I think
You know?
some people look at when you're in business and you get back as a customer, you might say, wow, it's like 50 cents more for a cheeseburger there than somewhere else. But you know that they put money back in their business, they take care of their employees, and they give back to the community. Are you willing to pay a little bit more for some food or something to do locally when you know the money stays local through local employment of individuals? We employ almost 80 some employees right now with our Bible Rest and all our workers that work in our business. You know, we provide benefits to our employees. They get full benefits. All the employees get benefits if they want, for medical, dental, vision, everything. We get 401k with a match from the company.
Wow.
We provide vacation pay for even our servers get vacation pay at a regular rate of pay, not just at the server rate. So we provide them all these benefits. They get free bowling for them and their family. They get discounts on these things are all costs to provide for our employees. But we also, we also do great work in the community. We give back to this community. So when you want to shop local, remember the money stays local across the board. Everything we spend, we try to use local partners for a lot of the work we do in our business. All that recycles back into the community. So
I would argue too, if I sat down and looked at your menu, and I have many times, you're saying 50 cents more for a burger or something. I would say you're well within the range, if not under. If I were to pull out 10, 15 miles, get into Toledo or go a little north to Monroe, for the quality of food that you have, which is exceptional, I think you're right where you need to be. So, people listening or watching, I don't want them thinking, oh, he has some kind of crazy expensive food. It's very affordable, but also high quality. We're going to take a break here in a moment, but before we do, I just want to tease a little bit. We have a branding and marketing guru sitting across from me. I'm going to brand you as a guru for marketing and branding because it's absolutely insane. And that's what we're going to talk about when we come back as we get into the final quarter of our show. So a little bit more after this break with Rich Kenny here in studio on Business and More. I want to talk about just a little bit about the importance, maybe from your corporate world experience, how important you see branding is, or marketing, or what that means to you. Maybe address it as, I try to think of every business owner as a new business owner. We're just kind of trying to educate them a little bit.
Watch
But
it one more time.
even if there's people out there that
back, and then we'll switch.
been in it for a while, you always
That
can
works
pick
for
up
me.
different stuff from different people. So we'll talk about that and then maybe the final 5 minutes we'll just, what's new with Forrest, we can do a little advertisement, we got this food new or this going on, or you know what I mean, to close it out. So
Is the
people know.
turkey burger staying on?
yes.
Thank you.
We actually have a new ultimate, not ultimate, what's it called? The plant-based
I'm afraid to
burger.
hit a button.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, we have a new plant-based
I'll have
burger.
to try that.
We have a cauliflower pizza crust now for.
Exceptional.
Said me never.
So we've got some new food options in there. We're adding a lobster mac and cheese on the menu.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, where
It
does
is,
this
yeah.
place
For not
at?
drink.
'Cause it sounds really
Have you ever heard-
starving now.
Have you ever heard
Forrest
Jim
food
Gaffigan's
option.
joke where he says,
Forrest
"Oh,
food?
people go,
Forrest
I
food.
love
Forrest
lobster, I
food.
love lobster."
Okay.
He goes, "Yeah, I love melted butter too."
Yeah.
Yeah, can I have a little lobster with my melted
With
butter?
my melted butter.
I like the king crabs and snow crabs. That's why I'm
My
more-
daughter's
Oh,
favorite.
yeah, I love king crab.
You got to work a little harder,
Yeah.
but it's
It's worth
really
it though.
good. Yeah.
It's kind of like pistachios. They taste so much better because it takes you 9 minutes to get to one.
But here you go. It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Experience-based. So the funny thing about experience is when you look at customers. I mean, I get negative reviews all the time. I read them. It's heart-wrenching. I know I'm not. I can't control everything. But it's like when they write these reviews, you're like, they say, well, you didn't staff your place properly.
What does that mean?
You don't know that I didn't fire. I just fired 2 people for doing what they were supposed to do. I had someone's child had to go to the emergency room. We don't intentionally staff our place.
That's what I
Right.
thought, because that's what keeps it all.
I have employees that have bad days and don't want to work. I can't.
No, and really, you can't be wearing the cook hat, wearing the
You don't want to
server
be
hat.
cooking. You don't want to be cooking. I don't know how to cook. That's one of my things. I can eat. I can't cook.
Yeah.
But it's like I get reviews. I'm like, you need to ask for a manager. No. Well, how can I fix the problem when you're here? Why would you be
Please.
miserable for 2 hours at my facility without
But-
asking for help?
Could you say, is your owner or the manager? One of those things. I just want to.
My number's plastered on the door. Call or text me anytime you have a problem. It's plastered on the door. It's literally call and text me. I will come over to your table.
No. They think you got your feet up at home, eating bonbons, watching a 24-hour binge of ESPN or
I
something.
barely watch TV now.
I know.
I mean, I'll go sit at Silence and
That's a
actually
good
do my emails for 2 hours at night, just get through the emails I'm behind on for the day, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
7. Sorry. 5, 4, 2.
We're back with Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. We have Rich Kenny, owner of Forest View Lanes, and before the break, I crowned him guru of branding and marketing, so we're going to talk about that a little bit, because I cannot go within 15 miles of my house without seeing his logo or his face or his number at least somewhere. I go to a Walleyes game, he's there. I go to the Chamber of Commerce meeting, oh, he sponsored that. I go down Telegraph, I see billboards, I'm in Toledo. So I see this effort that you've made to make sure that people know where you are, what you do, and where they can come grab some food, bowl, or maybe play a little volleyball in the summer. Tell me a little bit about what that game plan was like. I feel there's a lot of business owners out there and they go, I have a limited amount of money, or maybe I have a set amount of money. What do I go into? Where do I advertise? How do I brand? How important is that? I know that's a lot of questions for you, but kind of focus on that area of branding and marketing, and tell me what that means to you as a small business owner, especially someone who came from the corporate world.
Advertising is the hardest thing to measure, because you part of it's awareness. It's not always trying to get someone to buy something. So if you have a retail shop online, and they click and buy, your online store is working. But how did you get them there in the first place? So you got to look at a lot of different things, from Google Analytics to Facebook Insights to different things to understand where your customers are finding you at, and even ask them. But you're still never going to know how they heard about you, because they might just have, hey, I saw your sign at the end of the street and I came in, but they heard you on the radio 25 times the last week. They saw you on the TV 25 times the last week. They heard you here on this show. It all helps. So, you have to start somewhere. So if you're spending $100 a day on advertising, next week spend $105 a day, and you should start seeing your business grow based on those efforts. But you have to be in multiple places and doing multiple different things that go after your target audience. We partner with the Mud Hens and Walleye for one reason only. The customer base at Mud Hens Walleye game matches my customer base.
Right.
They're going out for entertainment. It's family friendly. What you spend on a ticket, you spend $10, $16 on a ticket, you might spend $10 on bowling. You spend $10 on food, you might spend $10 on food. You spend $10 on drinks, you might spend $10 on drinks. So the customer base has a demographic that matches, but it's family friendly, family focused. We support all the local, high school teams when they ask for help. We support the bowling team and robotics program, the band. We support different programs in the school and the community, because they're our customers. They already shop our business, so we support them. So part of philanthropy is letting people know that you want to be a part of the community and support those that already support you anyways. So these people that I'm supporting in the local community are probably already my customers. They already come in, so this is a way to say thank you to them for their patronage of my business. So it's really an appreciation of their support that you get throughout the years.
Yeah.
You always see me in a Forest View shirt. People always see me anywhere I go. They recognize that brand.
Yeah.
But when you go to a golf outing, you go to a charitable event, hopefully you'll see Forest View, you see Silence, you see Doolittle's, you see Mesa Jar, you see Columbia, you see all the other restaurants in Bedford, all the other supporting business, Indian Creek Zoo, and there's Duke Farms. There's so many great businesses and experiences in Bedford that they all give back and all do great things. So advertising, tell your customers what you're doing. Post if I posted information about our renovation we're doing, people are talking about it. If I have a dump truck coming dropping stone, I'm posting a picture of the dump truck dropping stone.
Right.
If I have a new AC going in the building, I'm gonna let you know put a new AC in the building. I want you to be aware of all the work we're doing, because you may
It's
have
an investment. Yeah.
you may have stopped coming to my business a year ago because our AC broke in the middle of summer, and you said this place sucks. They don't have their AC on. No, it broke. It broke today, and I couldn't get it out yet. It just happened like 2 hours ago, and we're at 78 degrees in the building.
Sure.
And this year you might see that I put an AC, and you might say, "Wow, I might go back there again." You know, it's like, and it's crazy. I get people to write reviews saying, "Your place sucks. You don't run your AC in the summer." Trust me, it's running. It was 105 degrees the last 5 days straight. No AC can keep up.
Right.
But it's those kind of experiences, and so advertise when you do improvements to your business. I have a belief that every day make one thing better in your business. Whether you put purse hooks up under the bars, countertops, whether you fix a door that's broken, whether you paint a door that needs painting, every day make one thing better in your business. So 365 days later, You got 365 things you fix in your business.
No matter
Now-
how big or small,
yeah.
you're just saying focus on.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, it could be $1 repair, it could be a 5-minute repair,
Right.
it could be a $100 repair, or it could be a $1,000 repair. But if you get all your employees to do the same thing, make one thing better every day in their business.
Yeah.
Think of that. If I had 80 some employees, if they all did one thing better every day they worked, where my business would be tomorrow.
Sure.
And you know, you see it. Like last night, I went back and they were doing different things to improve the business. Last night, you saw, you know, them helping. I had to go back at 2:00 in the morning, and they were working. They weren't just
Sure.
sitting there waiting. They're doing stuff in my business, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
they're doing things to improve my business, even with me not in the building. And that's kind of the cool thing to see. So advertise what you're doing. You know, advertise what you do for your team and what you do. We work. I get complaints every time I'm open on Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's and why do you make your employees work? My employees, they do want to work. They do need to get a paycheck. Yes.
Sure.
They do get tipped. They get paid for those days. But we're in the entertainment business. That's expected. But I also cook dinner for them on all the holidays. Not me personally. I'm a horrible cook. But I either
Right.
have it catered in or something, just because if I cooked it would burn, and that wouldn't be good. But I feed them, so I want people to know that we take care of our employees when they come in on the holidays. We pay
Right.
time and a half for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and things of that nature. We want to
Yeah.
reward them. But let people know what you do because they don't understand. They just think, well, you're a bad business owner. And I'm also there on the holidays.
Right.
I just don't make my employees work Christmas and not show up.
Yeah.
I show up with them. I'm there in the building, so it makes a difference. So
Sure.
when people say you shouldn't be open on the holidays, well, we are, and it's part of being
Yeah.
an entertainment business. People go to movies and bowling alleys on holidays. That's
Sure.
what families do.
Yeah.
But advertise is important. Getting the word out on you got to start first with your website. You know, you got to have that really in solid shape. You got to have marketing materials in your business at all times. You have to have a Facebook presence and a Google presence. Those are the most important platforms out there.
Sure.
Everything else is nice, it's good. There's value to Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah.
Snapchat. All these other things have value, but you can't do everything. Start small.
Sure.
Do the right stuff in your business.
Or find the right social media platform that's right for your business too.
Or hire
I
a
mean,
consultant. Like Jim has 10-pin marketing for bowling centers. Hire a consultant to come in and help you with some of those things.
Yeah.
But start small. You do the basics: website, Facebook, Google. Make sure you take care of those. Do those right. And if you can't
Yeah.
do it yourself, hire someone to help you with that process. But make sure you're doing that good. Make sure your profiles are accurate and updated, and that your information's out there is relevant. But share something every day. At least share something every day.
Yeah.
And make sure that you share the good you're doing. In the community, when you give something out, make sure the people you give to share that you're giving to them as well.
Sure.
And share your improvements you're doing to your business. Let people know you did something because they might never know. If
Right.
you fix something
Like
that
you-
was broken, they may never know it was broken, and
Right.
now you fix it. Now it's not a problem anymore. So educate.
Yeah.
And do that kind of stuff. But you have to spend money on advertising to be successful. You have to brand yourself, and it's over the years I spent money on advertising. You can see the sales change because of the advertising. So it's very important.
Sure. So as we round out the end of the show, I just wanted to have you talk a little bit about what you see for the future of Forest View. So you're about, 5 years into ownership?
5 years,
About 5 years in, you said you came in with, 15 or 17 employees? Or
Yep.
and what are you at now?
We're a little over 80.
So you're over 80. You also mentioned how you're offering health benefits. You're paying an above minimum wage, well above that. A lot of perks and benefits to the employees, which is just phenomenal for a local business to do, obviously. So you're growing, and you've kind of looked at the summer business. You brought in the extra courts for the volleyball and the outside entertainment. So what do we see on the horizon? In the last few minutes of the show, what do we see on the horizon for Forest View, and how have you arrived at that? What are you looking for in the next 3, 4, 5 years?
Okay. We're going to continue to evolve and become more of an experience-based business, more about entertainment and recreation, food and beverage, but also our core business, which is bowling leagues and volleyball leagues. This year we're doing about $600,000 renovation this summer alone. We're putting brand new lanes in, bowling lanes, approaches, pin decks all in the summer. A brand new entertainment and scoring system that's all interactive, so it's taking bowling and taking it to the next level. So
Cool.
instead of kids just throwing balls and getting gutter balls, they're bowling to build monsters and you can use send your scores to Facebook. You can chat with people on other lanes. It's all interactive experience to make it more fun for those. It's all 10 pin. Usually bowl at 10 pins, so it's giving them a lot more fun and more enjoyable experience.
Okay.
All new lighting shows, all new TV experience over the lanes. We have 14-foot TVs, 10 of them over the lanes. We're adding 30 to 40.
Yeah, those televisions brighten
Yeah.
up those
Yeah.
lanes. Are gorgeous.
We're adding all new lighting show over the lane this summer. We're adding 30, 49-inch TVs in the bowling center across the front of all the lanes. We're putting new ACs and furnaces and dehumidifiers in the bowling center. We're putting a whole new 70 by 20 foot patio in the bowling center for outdoor seating that open up and be year-round seating as well.
So you're doing 2 things a day to make your business
Some days,
better.
yeah.
Jeez.
And
got a lot going on there.
We got a lot of projects in the works. We're putting in new flooring, new bathrooms. We're going to put some ADA bathrooms put in this summer.
Okay.
Remodeling the other 2 bathrooms. Putting all new flooring in the bowling center and the bar. We are just continually trying to improve the business and make it better. Every year we do some kind of major renovation every year, you know, to really invest in the business.
Sure.
Thankfully, I got a great bank, Huntington, that supports me and gives me money when I ask them for it, which is always and life insurance policy with the money that they loan me.
Sure.
So they're really good with
Yeah.
supporting the local business. This is the 5th time I went to the well for money, and they've said yes all 5 times.
That's awesome.
With different conditions sometimes, but
Yeah.
they've said yes.
Yeah.
But you know, there's some other things on the horizon that are coming, and there'll be.
So we have big things going for Forest View as we move into the future. With the final minute of the show, can you just tell people if they want to come in, get a burger, join a league, you know, volleyball or bowling, just want to hang out and check out the place, how do they get in contact with you or the establishment? Where are you located? And how they can follow you maybe online too.
Forest View Lanes, or 2345 West Dean Road, corner of Dean and Douglas in Temperance. You can go visit us on Facebook at Forest View Lanes on Facebook. Our website's forestviewlanes.com, or you can call 734-847-4915.
Awesome. Rich, I want to thank you once again for coming in, giving us your time. I know you're a busy guy. You were up 3 a.m. in the morning taking care of business, but you still got here early Saturday morning. Wealth of knowledge. And you know what? Self-appointed by me, all-around swell guy. This is Business and More with your host, Greg Moore. Have a good day.
Thank you.
We're running a little over. Sorry.
It's fine.
Good stuff.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. No, seriously, we do the